Friends forever. This is a creepy urban legend from Spain about two girls who made a blood oath to each other that they would always be together. Once upon a time there were two 15-year-old girls named Alice and Sarah who had been best friends since childhood. They lived in the same neighborhood, studied at the same school, in the same class. In short, they were inseparable. Oddly enough, they were very different. Alice was cheerful and sociable, and Sarah was very shy and quiet. One day Sarah and Alice started talking about their friendship. "Do you think we'll always be friends?" Alice asked. "Yes," Sarah replied. "Why not?" "I do not know," Alice said. "Sometimes, when people get older, they move away from each other." "I have an idea," Sarah said. "Let's swear on blood." "What?" Alice asked in surprise. "We'll take a blood oath," Sarah repeated. "Listen, we have to swear that we will be best friends forever. If we lose touch with each other, we will have to do everything in our power to be together again, forever." "That's nonsense," Alice said. "We won't lose contact. We will always be together." But Sarah continued to insist, and Alice finally succumbed to her persuasions. Sarah found two needles and handed one to Alice. The girls took a piece of paper and wrote at the top, "Best friends forever," below they wrote their names. They lit candles and began to heat the ends of the needles over the flame. Then the girls pierced their index fingers and dripped blood on their names. Now their oath was sealed with blood. Years passed, the girls grew up and graduated from school. Alice went to college, to another city, and Sarah stayed in her hometown and got a job at a local store. Each of them had a boyfriend and they fell in love. The girls still kept in touch by phone, calling each other at least once a week. When Alice graduated from law school, she got a good job and got married. The couple bought a house and began to live in it. A few years later, they had a beautiful boy. Alice was so busy with her family that she rarely found time to call Sarah. Then the phone connection was completely interrupted and the friends no longer communicated. Although Alice sometimes thought about her childhood friend, she never called her again. In the end, each of the friends had their own life, and they never met each other after graduation. One night, Alice had a terrible nightmare. She was driving along an endless highway when suddenly, an oncoming truck pulled into her lane. The truck skidded, and it hit her car. She woke up drenched in sweat. She was trying to calm down and at that moment, she heard someone ringing at the front door. She looked at her watch and saw that it was already 3 o'clock in the morning. Her husband was fast asleep on the other side of the bed. The doorbell rang again, this time it was more insistent. Wondering who could have come to their house at such a time of day, Alice got out of bed, put on a bathrobe and went downstairs. When she opened the front door, she was shocked to see a woman on the porch. The woman looked very emaciated, she was pale and had a deep bleeding wound on her forehead. Although the years have changed her a lot, Alice recognized her immediately. It was her old friend Sarah. "Oh, Sarah. What happened?" she exclaimed. Sarah just stared at her. "Don't stand in the rain," Alice said. "Are you hurt?" Sarah didn't move. "What's wrong, Sarah?" Alice pleaded. "It's been a long time, Alice," Sarah croaked. "I've come to fulfill my promise. I've come to tell you that I'm dead." Alice was speechless. Sarah raised her hand and pointed her index finger at Alice. Blood was dripping from her finger. "Life has divorced us," Sarah continued. "But we will be together in death. I'll be waiting." Alice lost consciousness and collapsed on the floor. The next morning, Alice woke up in bed next to her beloved husband. She rubbed her eyes and thought that the events of last night were just a bad dream. At breakfast, she turned on the TV and what she saw shocked her. A television announcer announced that a terrible accident had occurred the day before at 3 a.m. A passenger car collided with a truck and the driver of the car was killed on the spot. The driver was a woman named Sarah. From that moment on, Alice's life turned into hell. She couldn't eat, she forgot to pick up a child from school, and even at work, she couldn't concentrate and thought about Sarah all the time. Every night, she had the same terrible dream, as if someone was ringing at their front door. Alice gets up, goes to open it and there she sees Sarah, who points at her with her index finger. The next morning, Alice woke up in bed next to her beloved husband. She rubbed her eyes and thought that the events of last night were just a bad dream. At breakfast, she turned on the TV and what she saw shocked her. A television announcer announced that a terrible accident had occurred the day before at 3 a.m. A passenger car collided with a truck and the driver of the car was killed on the spot. The driver was a woman named Sarah. From that moment on, Alice's life turned into hell. She couldn't eat, she forgot to pick up a child from school, and even at work, she couldn't concentrate and thought about Sarah all the time. Every night, she had the same terrible dream, as if someone was ringing at their front door. Alice gets up, goes to open it and there she sees Sarah, who points at her with her index finger. One night, my husband woke up to a loud noise. It was the sound of breaking glass. He ran into the bathroom and saw that there was a broken window. He looked out into the street and saw Alice lying in an unnatural position on the sidewalk. Terrified, her husband rushed down the stairs and jumped out into the street. A large pool of blood formed around Alice's head. Next to her, on the sidewalk, someone wrote her in blood, "Friends forever."